Hey, it's me, your barista. You know how you come in almost every day for our cold foam coffee? Well, now there's an easy way to foam at home with new International Delight Cold Foam Creamer, and it's foaming delicious.
New International Delight Cold Foam Creamer, now in stores. It's foaming delicious.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Game On. I'm your host, Will, and this morning we have a jam-packed show. Those of you that are new, especially over on Rumble, we love Rumble. If you're over there, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. If you're watching anywhere else, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, wherever, Twitter, go over to Rumble, subscribe over on Rumble, and because we love Rumble. Listen, we have a jam-packed show. I'm excited for the show because I did not expect this. And then yesterday we just had tons and tons of new things come out, especially in the NFL, which is where we're going to start, and we get to scratch our NFL itch a little bit there. But we got new rule changes in the NFL approved on by the owners. The owners went and voted yesterday, and we got a lot of changes, including Thursday night football stuff, betting stuff, new numbers, lots and lots of things going on in the NFL, what got approved and what didn't get approved. So we're going to get into all of that. We have an MLB baseball player who is about to make the most money in a single season than any player ever, on and off the field. So we're going to cover that. And then we have a Hall of Famers for the NBA were just announced. We'll see who those were. And we have LeBron James JR. and his NIL, name, image, likeness. He's about to pull in a ton of money. Shouldn't come in as a surprise to anyone, but we're going to look at that. And then we're going to cover the games today for the NBA. Take a look at what has changed, what happened yesterday, and the current playoff standings. And that's how we're going to end it. And we've got to go rapid fire if we're going to get through this. For those of you that are new, I've been doing this show since last week on top of all the other stuff that I do and the content that I produce, but be getting up, starting this at 5:30 a.m. Pacific, trying to cover real quick a little morning espresso shot of sports. What's going on? What happened yesterday? What's going on today? What games can we expect? What can we bet on if we see an opportunity? Stuff like that. So if you enjoy the show, wherever you're watching, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, especially over on Rumble. Speaking of Rumble, shout out to Rumble. We've got 11 people watching over there right now. 12, it's just climbing. It's climbing right now. Good morning, Rumble. Glad to have you in. We're going to get started because, like I said, we have a jam-packed show, so much to cover, and let's get right into this. One of the first things that came out yesterday that was pretty controversial with the players, at least, and you can see Patrick Mahomes is replying here to it, is the NFL announced that teams can now have 2 Thursday night football games per season. Last time the limit was 1, and now that's changed. Flexing for NFL for Thursday night football has not happened yet. They've tabled that to May, so we'll get a decision on that in May. Players are really against. I don't think the players are too much against the Thursday night football games. It sounds like it's the flexing. They don't want to be able to be flexed into a Thursday night spot. And it goes back and give me a second. Jesus, I'm so excited this morning. Had something caught in my throat. It was chilly out this morning. I was out running and got some mucus there. Okay, we're good. We're good. 3, 2, 1, cut that out. Oh, wait, no, we're live. Anyways, so I don't think the players with Thursday night football are all that mad about it. You'll hear some people talk about, if you care about player safety, you preach player safety, and then yet you go out and do this. And Roger Goodell came out and actually said, he goes, I've heard it both ways. Players don't really like have complained about the Thursday night football games where they only have 3 days to prepare. He goes, but I've also heard players really, really like the 10 days off afterwards as well. And obviously, if you, let's say in the beginning of October, you have a Thursday night football game, you're not going to have another Thursday night football game towards the end of the season. Plus, they can actually end up doing this strategically for that second game. Let's say you have a later bye in the year. This will help those teams that have a later bye in the year because instead of waiting until like week 13 or 14 to get your bye, well, maybe at week let's say week 6, you have your Thursday night game. So you kind of get a little mini bye there because you get that 10 days off. And let's say going, after your bye week, you come back, instead of getting 2 full weeks off, you come back to that Thursday night game. So you've already had, your 10 plus days off. You play your Thursday night game. So it's not a short week for you. It's not you've got your 10 days rest, and then you get another 10 days rest. So I think the NFL could be creative that way, and still, I think they can make this work, allowing teams to play two Thursday night football games and still protect the players and their safety if they do it right and matched up with the bye weeks. But we'll see. Your initial reaction, you're going to see a bunch of players bitching and moaning about that, and people saying this is not fair. You're going to probably see your Stephen A. Smiths and people on ESPN, all the talking heads, saying this is all, this is not player safety. The NFL only cares about making money. Blah blah blah. I think they're not looking at the bigger picture, and how the scheduling could actually work in the favor of player safety and something that will benefit the players, and they'll get more rest, especially like I'm saying, those teams that have those later bye weeks in the season. Man, you don't think that they would rather have have two Thursday night football games where they get a little mini bye, week 8 or so, if they've got a week 14 bye or whatever. I can't even remember what week the cutoff is for buys, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say. But Patrick Mahomes, he's not happy with it at first. You can see this, and Roger Goodell had to talk about it, but we'll see. That's one of the first changes over in the NFL. Next up, so now people are saying, okay, wait. If you can have teams playing up to 2 Thursday night football games, that means not every team's going to be guaranteed a primetime spot. And exactly that. The NFL says there's no promise that all 32 teams are getting a primetime game. We want to make sure that teams competitively play their way into prime time. I love that, because how many times have we had Thursday night football stinkers, Sunday night football stinker, Monday night football? I mean, yeah, they always have the opportunity to flex out those games at the end of the season, but I think that's how it should be, because what do we want? What do we want in the primetime spots? We want good games. All right. We don't want the bottom of the barrel of teams that are fighting to get the top 5 pick, and whoever wins this one's going to get a better pick, and the other one's going to probably get the first or second overall pick. No, we don't want to see that. We want to see in these primetime spots, especially Monday Night Football, when we've had a whole jam-packed weekend of sports. We go to work Monday and we want to come back and get one more little dose of just sports heaven and just watch a good Monday Night Football game. I love this because, listen, be good. Be good. If your organization stinks, you don't deserve to be in the primetime spot. So be good. All right. You want to get in the primetime spot, then be good. So I like what they're doing there with that. If you guys, hey, let me know what you guys think too. Hop in the chat. I see, we got a bunch of people watching right now. Hop in the chat, especially over on Rumble. Let me know what you think about some of these changes as we go through them. The next one, I think this one's pretty cool. So the NFL owners has approved that players can now wear the number 0. So, and it sounds like Calvin Ridley is going to be the first player to do that. So that's kind of cool. So we're going to see the number 0 out there, adding another number. I don't know why it wasn't approved. I could go either way. I don't really care, but I think it's cool that they're going to allow that out there. And, some players are pretty happy about that. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially with these free agents who end up changing teams, who's going to end up wanting to pick number 0 as they sign with a new team. This is a huge one right here. This one is huge. NFL continues to embrace sports betting. The NFL owners voted to allow sportsbooks to operate in stadiums on game days starting with the 2023 season. This is exciting stuff, especially if you're a sports bettor or if you're someone that just wants to get into, you're at a game. Listen, you're already at the game. Why not be able to go to the kiosk and throw a bet on it, throw a live bet on it? Currently, the Washington Commanders are the only team that have betting kiosk in the stadium. Several other teams have them outside the stadium, but this is huge because it just continues to expand sports betting. And as a sports bettor, I can tell you there's nothing better than to be able, if you're going to bet a game live, than to be at the game. You have such an edge because you don't have the delayed feed. These sports books pay millions of dollars to have about a 7-second faster feed than what you get on your TV. And that doesn't even count the people that, may not legally pay for stuff and watch it online. You're probably at 60 seconds to 90 seconds behind. And if you're 60 seconds and 90 seconds behind and you're trying to place a bet, the sports books already know what happens. So that's why I always say, if you're going to bet live and you're watching from home, you got to do it during a timeout. You can't do it play by play. But at the game, you do it play by play because you are live. So there's no advantage the sports books have over you. I think this is great. Obviously because I love sports betting and this is a lot of stuff that we talk about on the show, but I think embracing this and expanding it, and honestly the owners are doing it because of the money, because there's a huge market for it and it makes a ton of money. And what I briefly was reading was the individual stadium the team gets to keep the first 20 million in revenue, and then the rest after 20 million that starts getting pooled and shared throughout the league, just how jersey sales and all that other stuff in the NFL gets pooled and shared, because there are states that don't allow sports betting yet. So those stadiums are at a disadvantage because they can't actually do that yet. So right now, with the handful of teams and stadiums that are able to do it, they'll get to keep the first little chunk of it. And I know you're thinking, no, 20 million. That's a lot. And how are they supposed to go over 20 million? They'll go over 20 million after the first game. It's you'd be surprised at how many people throw in parlays, live bet. I mean, you're already spending hundreds of dollars to go to the game, to throw a few dollars here and there betting on the game there, especially as it gets more and more popular and people try it for the first time and see, hey, this is exciting. I got a ticket on this game. I'm here at the game. I'm rooting on. Now I'm rooting for this ticket. Maybe I can win some money back. And pay for those expensive beers and hot dogs and whatnot. So I think this is huge for the NFL going forward and for sports bettors going forward. And I'm excited to see how it plays out. Let's see. Up next, we have NFL confirms that moving forward, there will be only one NFL Red Zone channel. What? Honestly, I know that there's been two, but I always watch the Scott Hansen one, and that's the one that's getting approved. Scott Hansen does an amazing job. No offense to anyone else out there, the DirecTV one, but DirecTV's deal came to an end, and that version of Red Zone no longer exists. So Scott Hansen is going to probably get paid a pretty penny now that he's going to be the only one up there. And remember, YouTube bought the rights to Red Zone, so YouTube's going to be in charge of all that stuff. And I can't wait to. I hope YouTube. They said that they're going to do it, but I hope YouTube actually does. That you don't need YouTube TV. That you can just go to YouTube. I'm already a YouTube premium member. I hope you could just go in and buy a package, a monthly package, or weekly, or even for this season long. I'm sure they'll have different tiers. I hope they do. Of just let me buy Red Zone. All I want is Red Zone. I don't care about the other game. Just let me buy Red Zone, because that's what I watch. And I think they're going to do that, and I hope they do that. But going forward, there is going to only be one NFL Red Zone channel, and that is with Scott Hansen. And man, I can't wait for football season. Just talking about Red Zone get me excited. Oh man, I miss it. This one's huge too. This one's interesting. Not many people are gonna. This probably won't make the headlines that much, but this one's kind of interesting. So NFL has approved having just one roster cut down, meaning that the teams will trim from 90 to 53 after the final preseason game. So for those of you that don't know, you start the season off and you're allowed to have 90 active players on the roster, plus you get to have a few people off the side for injuries and practice squads and whatnot. But by the time the last preseason game comes around, you have to have a 53-man roster, plus then you can have your practice squad and all that stuff. But how it used to go is each week after each preseason week, you had to cut down X amount of players. So you'd go from 90 to, I can't remember the exact numbers, but let's just say you'd go from 90 to 75 and 75 to 60 and then 60 to 53, right? Let's just say it was that. Well, now teams get to keep all 90 players, so they can continue to evaluate and see how these players grow over the few weeks, and then make their massive cuts, which means about 1,100 players are going to be cut after that final preseason game all at once. But at least they'll have more of an opportunity to show off their skills throughout the full preseason. This year's date for the final cut will be Tuesday, August 29th. So that's what we'll be seeing. But I think that's pretty cool. It allows teams to have more bodies out there. Teams are going to have to manage who they want to evaluate and what they want to do. But it also allows, some of the people that they know are going to be starters that aren't going to get cut on the team. They can go ahead and, take a few, rest up, take a few days off, because you got more bodies out there to run your drills and do what you need to do to get ready for the season. So, plus, if injuries happen, you already got a guy there, whereas you might have an injury and you need to call a guy back. It just gets messy. I think this is a pretty big pretty big move for the NFL. But yeah, those are some of the main things that I saw with the NFL owners meeting and approvals and whatnot. I'm still going through. I'm trying to find a nice list. I couldn't find one, so I was just going through Twitter and looking to see what I could find. Even ESPN didn't really have a nice list, but there's several things like they denied. They denied reviewing pass interference again. There's several things that they actually denied. We'll get into that as I dig a little bit more, maybe tomorrow or throughout the week. We'll dig in to see exactly what was going on as more and more comes out. But those are kind of the big stuff. We have Thursday night football. Teams can play 2 games. New number. You can wear the number 0. Action Network is reporting that sports betting is now going to be allowed in stadiums. You've got the Red Zone channel. There's only one Red Zone channel, and you've got this roster move of where you can make all the cuts at the end of the preseason from 90 to 53. And that's our NFL itch for the morning. Once again, if you're watching over on Rumble, make sure you like this and hop in the chat and subscribe to the channel. Love Rumble. Love you guys over there. We've got 18 people watching now on Rumble. Really appreciate all that. So next up, that's it for the NFL stuff. Next up, MLB. We have now the highest paid MLB player for one season. And it's not just based off how much they're going to make in salary that season. It's how much they make in total with endorsements and everything else. Shohei Ohtani is a global star and is projected to make. So he's going to make $30 million with the Angels. That's his salary, $30 million. But he's estimated globally with endorsements and everything to make another $35 million in endorsements. $35 million in endorsements. He's making more in endorsements than he is playing for the Angels. And this is going to be he's going to be making $65 million in 2023. 65 million. One MLB player is going to be making $65 million. That is awesome. Congrats to him. And obviously he's got the global effect because he's from Japan. He's got multiple companies in Japan. He's got 13 partnerships in total, it looks like. Let's see. For context, the player with the next highest off the field earnings is Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees, who will make $4.5 million. That's how insane it is. Like we hear about LeBron makes $100 million in endorsement. That's because he got a huge Nike deal, right? But a player like Aaron Judge, who just broke the AL home run record last year, and plays for the New York Yankees. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're kind of a big deal. And he has the New York media. And he's the biggest star in New York for the Yankees. He's only, I say only, in comparison to Ohtani there. He's making $4.5 million, whereas Ohtani is making $35 million. That's insane. So he's going to be making $65 million. Judge's combined earnings for the 2023 season will be $44.5 million. So Ohtani's leading the pack. He's earned it. Just had a great World Baseball Classic championship that he won there, and obviously striking out Trout at the end of that was pretty awesome. But yeah, he's becoming a global star, and he deserves it. And it's going to be interesting to see. He's making all that money off the field, but he's gonna be making. He's due for a contract here after this season. We'll see what number he gets to. And where he might end up playing after the season and what he could be making on the field. But hats off to him. $65 million. That is awesome. That is awesome. Next up, we have announcements for Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. We'll get into this before we get into the games for today. So the NBA came out and announced some Hall of Famers. So Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, and Greg Popovich are among the finalists being elected into the Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2023. International stars Pau Gasol and Tony Parker and WNBA legend Becky Hammon also have been voted into the 2023 class. So, hey, I mean, that's a good class. You got Dwayne Wade, Dirk, Pop. I mean, and then it looks like it's all Spurs players after that. Powell, Tony Parker, but I mean, obviously running with Pop. That's what you're gonna get. But yeah, I forgot that I think they're like the NFL where you have to wait 5 years before you can get in. But yeah, this is a good class. I mean, you've deservedly so. Dwayne Wade, Dirk, and Greg Popovich are all obviously Hall of Famers. Same with Pau Gasol and Tony Parker. And Becky. I don't know much about Becky Hammond, but well deserved, Becky. Good job. So that's your 2023 NBA Hall of Fame class. And the last one before we get into, like I said, we got to go rapid fire this morning because we've had so much to talk about. Last thing we got to get into. So now that we have with college athletes the NIL, the name, image, likeness, that means these players can actually make money off their name, image, and likeness. So they're not getting screwed over by colleges who make all the money off of them. They can actually take endorsements. They can do all this stuff. Obviously, LeBron James Jr., Bronny James, is going to be one of the highest paid out there because of his father and because of his name, right? So Bronny James is the nation's highest NIL earner with an estimated $7.2 million. So for playing his one college basketball season that's coming up, which I don't believe he's announced yet where he's going to play. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think he's announced it yet. But he's estimated to make $7.2 million. Not too bad. Not like the family's hurting for money, but he's making his own name for himself, I guess, even though he's probably only getting this because his name is LeBron James Jr. But $7.2 million for an 18-year-old. Wow. That's a haul. That's a haul. I wonder, like, and that's in basketball. I wonder if anyone in college football, if we're going to see anyone even get close to that. But Bronny James, I mean, shouldn't be a shock, but that's. I was kind of actually shocked that that's the highest, 7.2 million. That's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but I would think that there'd be like a star quarterback in college football that would get like 10, 15 million, right? To go play at some school that's not Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, or anything like that, right? But I guess we'll see. And he hasn't even stepped onto a college court yet. So we haven't even seen him in a college practice yet. And he's going to get 7.2 million. Congrats to Bronny James. Hopefully, I hope he lives up to the hype. Hope he ends up being something talent-wise like his father. Not his off-the-court stuff like his father, but his talent. But we'll see. Let's get into the association. And once again, if you're watching over on Rumble, good morning to you. Make sure you like the video, share it out there, and subscribe to the channel. NBA winding down. We're down to the last 5 or 6 games, couple weeks left. Let's see what happened last night. The Wizards blow out at home the Celtics. That's embarrassing. Celtics were a 10.5 point favorite, and they lose by 19 to the Wizards, 130 to 111. Raptors defeat the Heat 106-92. Cavs lose to the Hawks. Wow. Cavs lose to the Hawks 120-118. Hornets are on a little bit of a winning streak here now. The Hornets, as a 10.5 point dog, win outright on the road 137-134 to the Thunder. The Thunder needed that win too because they're in the fight for that last spot into the play-in tournament in the West. The Magic lose on the road to the Grizzlies 113-108. And the Warriors at home continue to dominate at home as they defeat the Pelicans 120-109, and they covered the 8.5 points. So the Warriors dominate at home. So let's see what we got going on for today in the pro report for the NBA. Tomorrow we've got the MLB opening day. We'll have to bring on our MLB expert Heavy Steps and see what he's liking for the opening day. And I know he's taking work off for it. So tonight we have the Timberwolves and the Suns. Kevin Durant making a return after slipping in warmups at the beginning of the month. He will be back, and he's missed 10 games, but now he's returning. Home return for the Suns. Suns are going to be a 5 point favorite over the Timberwolves. Sharp money and big money coming in on the Timberwolves. 41% of the bets and 62% of the money is on the Timberwolves. Rockets are 11.5-point dog to the Nets. Big money is in on the Nets. 37% of the bets, but 56% of the money laying the points. 11.5 with the Nets. Pistons and Thunder. Thunder 11.5-point favorites over the Pistons. That seems bizarre, especially since they just played yesterday and lost. But Pistons, sharp money coming in on the Pistons plus 11. Spurs at home are a 6-point underdog to the Jazz. Sharp money coming on the Spurs, and I don't know why sharp money is coming on the Spurs. The Spurs are god awful. You cannot trust them. They have no pride. They give no effort. The Jazz should roll in this one. I don't even know anything about the Jazz, and I just think they should roll because that's how bad the Spurs are. The Lakers are a 2-point favorite over the Bulls. Sharp money coming on the Bulls, and I agree with that because the Bulls just went down to LA and beat the Lakers in LeBron's return, and it was pretty easy. So I don't know how the Lakers now on the road in Chicago, how anything's going to be any different, and the Bulls are now an underdog again in this game, and I think the Bulls are actually going to win this one. But the Lakers are desperate and need a win. Kings 14.5-point favorite on the road to the Blazers. The Blazers announced that they are shutting down Damian Lillard, so he's done for the season. So that's why we're seeing a 14.5-point spread on the Kings, and sharp money is coming in on the Kings. Heat at the Knicks. Knicks are a 4.5-point favorite over the Heat. Sharp money coming in on the 4.5 for the Heat, but big money coming in laying the 4.5 with the Knicks. 58% of the bets and 93% of the money on Knicks minus 4.5. Mavericks at the 76ers. Mavericks plus 4 dog to the Sixers. Sharp money coming on the Mavericks. Big money coming in on the Sixers with 42% of the bets and 94% of the money. I would look towards the Mavericks in this one because it is rumored that Embiid and Harden are both going to be out. So you better snag the plus 4 while you can before that line moves to pick them. And the Bucks and Pacers. Bucks 11.5-point favorite on the road against the Pacers. And finally, we have the Clippers on the road to the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are a 4-point favorite over the Clippers. There you have it. That's what we got going on in the association today. Let's take a look at it real quick. I'm going to pull it up. I wanted NBA standings because we got to take a look at our standings. See what has changed every day. This whole lineup here is going to get shuffled at the bottom, not at the top. So Eastern Conference, we got the Bucks with the 1 seed. Then we got Celtics, Sixers, Cavs, Knicks, Nets. Those teams are locked in so far. They are locked in and not in the play-in. If the season ended today, the play-in would be the Heat hosting the Hawks, and then the Raptors hosting the Bulls. The Wizards are on the outside looking in. They need some help to get in there. But it looks like the top 10 in the Eastern Conference is pretty set. Pretty set. I mean, maybe the Wizards can find a way to sneak in, but they're going to need some help. Western Conference is where it gets interesting. You got the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings is your top 3. And those are all pretty safe. Then it gets interesting from the 4 on. So we have the Suns with 40 wins. We have the Clippers with 40 wins. And we have the Warriors with 40 wins. So those are your 4, 5, 6. If the season ended today, those teams would be locked in. And then we have the Timberwolves in the 7th seed with 39 wins, the Pelicans in the 8th seed with 38 wins, the Lakers in the 9th seed with 37 wins, and the Thunder in the 10th seed with 37 wins, and the Mavs in the 11th spot with 37 wins. So as you can see, from seed 4 to seed 11 is only a 3-game difference. You've got 40 wins, 40 wins, 40 wins, 39, 38, 37, 37, 37. So things during this last 5 or 6 games can get real tricky. You could be in that 4 spot and find yourself in the play-in tournament real easy with a losing streak coming here and someone getting hot. And the Mavericks on the outside looking in, they need to win. So basically it's a game of musical chairs between the Lakers, Thunder, and Mavericks, and maybe even the Pelicans if they end up losing, down the stretch here. But the Lakers, Thunder, and Mavericks are all 37-win teams right now. There's only 2 spots and there's 3 teams. So one of those 3 is going to be out, and it's going to be interesting. But if it ended today, we would have the Timberwolves hosting the Pelicans, and then we have the Lakers hosting the Thunder as our play-in tournament. That's going to be interesting. But hey, there's the morning show for you. Jam-packed NFL talk. It felt really good to talk about the NFL, some changes in the league. I'm really excited about the sports betting in stadiums. I mean, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. I also think it's gonna be fun to see the number changes. Who's gonna end up picking zero? I have a feeling it's gonna be a lot of wide receivers that are gonna end up picking zero. Could you imagine a quarterback as zero? That'd be kind of funny too. But yeah, there's the show. Thanks for hanging out with me every morning, 5:30 a.m., even on the weekends. All right, we don't take days off. 5:30 a.m. Go through quick little rapid fire here. What's going on in sports? Breaking news, talking about the latest, seeing what games are coming up, what odds on some of these games are, where we can find an edge betting. Excuse me. If you're watching over on Rumble, really appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit that little plus Rumble thing. God, my throat. Really, it really helps the algorithm over there. Subscribe to the channel, and if you're on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. One, like it over there. Make sure you're subscribed over there, but then go to Rumble, sign up for an account, and then follow me over there on Rumble as well. Links are all down in the bottom of this description. And the best place to find me is over at my sports community at gameon.locals.com. It's free to join. I've got daily live chats going over there, although I forgot to put one up yesterday. I can't believe that. And but I will be doing it because baseball season is about to start, and heavy steps would kill me if I don't have a live chat up every day. So I'm going to be doing that. But we have a great sports community over there where we post stuff all day long. You can post and talk about anything you want in there related to, I mean, it could be anything, but we focus on sports betting, all that stuff. It's free to join, gameon.locals.com. We would love to have you a part of the community. Come check it out. And you know what? Until tomorrow morning, I'll talk to you guys later.